After decades of enduring the intricacies of royal life together, one might expect that a couple would be entitled to a symbol of their unwavering commitment, a piece of jewelry so meaningful, it transcends mere words, a ring that encapsulates not just love, but shared history, sacrifices, and unity. This ring, in its brilliance, should serve as a timeless reminder of their journey together. Yet in the royal world, where everything is meticulously curated, symbols hold far more weight. These tokens aren't just signs of affection, they are messages to the world. They are declarations of loyalty, tradition, and power. And when such symbols are worn by a queen consort, they become a public affair of the highest order. Queen Camilla's diamond ring, an exquisitely crafted piece of jewelry, has not simply captured the attention of the media and the public, it has ignited a firestorm of speculation, turning her into one of the most talked-about figures in modern royal history. Initially, the ring was seen as a beautiful emblem of love and unity. However, as the media and insiders have been quick to observe, it has since become something much more powerful. It is now at the heart of an ever-growing scandal, with the public asking the crucial question: is this glittering token a symbol of true devotion, or is it the final, calculated piece in a much larger, and more dangerous chess game? A game that could very well unravel the very foundation of the monarchy itself. What began as a simple, innocent gesture of love from King Charles to his second wife has now evolved into a volatile powder keg, capable of causing irreparable damage to the royal family's reputation. The very institution, long seen as a symbol of stability, faces its greatest test in decades. The once immaculate image of the British monarchy, so carefully curated for centuries, now hangs in the balance. What everyone thought was an unbreakable, unshakable bond between a monarch and his consort has, overnight, turned into a battle for control, power, and authority. As rumors intensify, the royal family finds itself facing questions no one could have predicted just a few months ago. In a shocking twist, the situation has escalated far beyond what anyone could have imagined. Recent reports suggest that King Charles, usually known for his calm and measured demeanor, is now consumed by a rage so intense that it has left the palace staff in a state of disbelief. The king's reaction, one that has stunned even those closest to him, has been described as nothing short of volcanic. This is not the royal calm that the world is accustomed to. This is a fury that seems to have completely taken over the monarch. It all began with the diamond ring, which was meant to symbolize their enduring commitment to each other, their shared history, and the future of the monarchy. But now, it has become a symbol of a fractured union, the very thing that could lead to the collapse of their marriage, and with it, the monarchy itself. According to multiple sources close to the royal household, King Charles has demanded that Queen Camilla return the engagement ring, an action so drastic it sends a clear message: the relationship is over, and the monarchy's future is hanging by a thread. In fact, the king has reportedly gone as far as ordering her to leave the royal residence. What was once a symbol of royal devotion has now become the flashpoint for a monumental crisis. For the British royal family, whose image of stability has been meticulously crafted over the centuries, this is a scandal of unprecedented proportions. The carefully constructed facade of royal perfection is now in danger of crumbling under the weight of a very public confrontation. King Charles, a man who has spent his life preparing for this moment, now faces a challenge that no one could have foreseen: a breakdown in his marriage to Queen Camilla, a relationship that many once considered the cornerstone of his reign. The growing tensions between the king and queen have been simmering for months, with cracks in their marriage becoming more and more apparent. According to palace insiders, the tension was palpable even before the dramatic confrontation. Staff and advisors began to notice subtle shifts in their dynamic. There was an undeniable distance between the couple, an emotional chasm that no one could ignore. While the public continued to see them as the perfect royal pair, behind closed doors, the royal marriage was beginning to show signs of strain. Sources within the palace now claim that these tensions reached their boiling point in recent weeks, culminating in a shocking and explosive confrontation. Camilla, who had once been content to remain in the background, quietly supporting her husband, began to assert her own authority in ways that were completely unexpected. She started stepping into the spotlight more boldly than ever before, making public appearances, without prior approval from the palace, and even speaking directly to the press. For some, this newfound independence was seen as a welcome breath of fresh air, a queen consort finding her own voice. But for the royal establishment, it was a direct challenge to everything they held dear. The monarchy, which thrives on tradition and control, was being threatened by an act of defiance that could not be ignored. Camilla's audacious decision to speak to the press without the palace's approval sent shockwaves throughout the royal household, signaling a shift in the power dynamics that had previously seemed so stable. This was not just a harmless act of independence, it was a challenge to King Charles's authority. For years, he had carefully curated his image as the monarch who adhered to tradition and upheld royal protocol. But now, with Camilla stepping into the spotlight in a way no one had anticipated, the very foundation of the monarchy was being tested. The careful choreography that had governed royal life for generations was being disrupted by Camilla's boldness. It wasn't just her actions that caused alarm, it was what she said during one of her interviews that raised the most eyebrows. With unshakable confidence, Camilla spoke of her role as queen consort in a way that left insiders stunned. She suggested that her position within the monarchy would evolve, that her role was no longer just one of passive support, but of active involvement in shaping the future of the institution. Her words, once seen as a private reflection of her thoughts, were now interpreted as a direct challenge to the authority of King Charles himself. To make matters worse, Camilla's remarks seemed to suggest that she was positioning herself as a force to be reckoned with, an active player in the monarchy, no longer content to remain in the background. For King Charles, who had spent his entire life preparing for the throne and protecting its integrity, Camilla's words were seen as an act of betrayal. This wasn't just about a simple disagreement, this was about the future of the monarchy itself. For Charles, her audacity was nothing short of an assault on the very core of the royal institution. In a kingdom where power, control, and tradition reigned supreme, Camilla's defiance was a direct threat to everything King Charles had worked to build. His anger, which had been growing for months, now reached a fever pitch. What was once seen as a partnership between equals had now become a power struggle, one with the potential to shake the very foundations of the royal family. Palace sources claim that this is no longer about the marriage itself, but about something far more consequential, the monarchy's stability. King Charles has spent his entire life preparing for this role. His ascension to the throne was seen as the culmination of decades of preparation. And yet, here he was, facing a challenge from within his own house, from the very woman who was supposed to stand by his side and support him. The tension between Charles and Camilla has now reached a boiling point, and insiders suggest that there may be no turning back. With Camilla's newfound prominence and her willingness to assert her own power, the palace is left grappling with a crisis that could have far-reaching consequences. It's not just a royal feud, it's a fight for control, and the stakes could not be higher. In a kingdom built on tradition, protocol, and unspoken rules, the very foundation of the monarchy is being tested. What was once a carefully orchestrated, harmonious partnership is now crumbling under the weight of ambition, power, and a fight for dominance. What began with a beautiful diamond ring, a symbol of love and loyalty, has now become a weapon in a battle for the future of the British monarchy. As the public watches in anticipation, the royal family's carefully constructed image begins to unravel. Will King Charles and Queen Camilla reconcile? Or is this the beginning of the end for their marriage, and for the monarchy itself? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, this royal crisis has only just begun, and it promises to become one of the most explosive scandals in royal history. Stay tuned for more insider stories, exclusive updates, and a deeper look at the unfolding drama behind the palace walls. Subscribe now to stay informed about the royal family's most shocking developments. This is a story that will keep you on the edge of your seat.